What's up guys and welcome back to On the Brick, where today I am announcing the winners of the minifig display mock contest. And yes, you heard that correctly. I got so many wonderful entries into this, and it was very difficult to pick a winner because these were all wonderful entries. So what I'm going to do in today's video is just start off by showing you the honorable mentions because they still deserve to be shown off, and then we'll go into who won. And just to clarify, these honorable mentions are in no particular order. Now the first entry comes from the user 66 bricks, and this is Geonosis. This is a fantastic entry. You can see that the 6x6 base is still there, and I like how it spread out over it just a little bit, really showing the dynamic landscape of Geonosis. I also love the color choices that you used here, and even though there's only just like some subtle differences, they really do help make this a little more dynamic and not just a plain boring display. When I look at this, I instantly can tell that this is Geonosis. I also love that this was actually built in real life, again, well, obviously showing that it can be built in real life. 66 bricks, you shouldn't be sad because this was extremely close. And our next honorable mention comes from the user Chars. He actually has 4 separate submissions, but we'll be looking at them at different times here. And the first submission to show off is his Han Solo in Carbonite, in which you can showcase either Boba Fett or Leia in her bounty hunter outfit. Okay, what's really interesting is that I also made a version of this. But out of the 4 submissions that Chars entered, this was definitely the weakest. I think that it still looks good, and you can obviously tell what it's supposed to be, but once I show you the other 3, you'll see what I mean. So moving on, the next submission comes from Ethan, and this is Umbara. Now, if I show it to you just like this, you're probably immediately thinking the same thing that I did. This looks great. Umbara is a very difficult planet to capture, which is why I personally haven't even tried yet. And I love Ethan's attempt here. Obviously, it's really dark, but you can tell that there is like a difference in the landscape here. I like the different pieces that you used. I really love the katana on the right with the pins there. And I also really do like how you went outside of the base again and made it just a little bit more dynamic. There is one kind of tiny, kind of big flaw with this though, and it's when you add the minifigures in, it covers up a lot of that detail. You can't really see any of the red pieces in the back, and it really takes away from everything here. Otherwise, this is a great submission. Next up is an entry from a guy named Guy, and it is by far the simplest entry in all of this. It's just Geonosis here. And while the color choice definitely gives that away, I do think that this needed something more to it. Maybe just a little bit more diversity in the landscape, and I also think that some sort of backing or background was absolutely needed here. While I didn't require that for the entries, I do think that this just needs a little bit more. Ivy is also a user who submitted multiple, and his first is be careful not to choke on your aspirations, obviously from Rogue One. Now, I absolutely love the piece choice here. Again, I think this does a good job of recreating that moment from Darth Vader and director Krennic, and I really find it clever how he made that backing there so that the top is floating. However, if you looked at this without the minifigures, I'm not sure if you would really be able to tell what scene or moment it's from. But fret not, Ivy, because like I said, you do have another entry coming up. And just like Ivy and Chars, Jan is someone else who also submitted 4 separate items, the first of which was this Kashyyyk. Now, I really like all 4 of Jan's entries, but this is once again the weakest here, only because to me, I don't really see Kashyyyk out of this. I don't think it looks bad or anything, and I don't really know what my personal mental image of Kashyyyk is, but when I look at this, I just don't really see it. Okay, so a good amount of people actually submitted more than one. Noah the Cat Guy was one of them, and just like Jan, sorry I had to burp in the middle of that sentence, he also did Kashyyyk, and again, just for the same reasons. I guess like I don't really know what Kashyyyk looks like to me, and I guess that's on me. This next entry comes from Scrawny-like and is Umbara. And I think this is another very valiant attempt. This is the Sarlacc Pit here, and just like the other guys, it's mainly black, mainly dark, because that's what Umbara is like. I like that he included the hinge pieces in the back so that you can see like the snaking vines and whatnot. And while a great submission, I think there was just a few more that edged it out. The user Shark Savage made what is easily the most clever entry so far. This is from the last season of the Clone Wars in Old Friends Lie Down, where you had Cody with Obi-Wan going on the top of the bridge and then the 501st coming underneath. This is one of the few entries in which multiple minifigures are included, and I love how the 501st one is meant to be displayed in a different way. However, similar to Ivy's interpretation of the Darth Vader castle moment, if you looked at this without the minifigures, I'm not quite sure you would be able to figure out quite what it is. However, this is still a great entry. Okay, now all of those that we just showed off are still really great entries. There was not a single one that I looked at and did not like. And I want to thank all of you for still submitting, and if it's okay with you guys, I would love to still show off your builds on my channel at some point, giving you full credit, of course. So if you're okay with that, let me know either on Discord or in the comments down below. Now with that said, the following ones, with the exception of 66 Bricks, since I showed it off at the beginning of the video, are all ones who got so close to winning, but were ultimately just edged out. To start off with, we have to go back to Char's. Dude, I know, I'm so sorry. The final 3 ones that he built were all so amazing. The first one being his version of Boba on the throne. It's again a 2-person seater. I think he did a fantastic job capturing this. This is really like such a nice thing, but there were just some that were better. And that includes his other submission here of the Razer Crest Cockpit, which again I think is a great build. This does almost fall into the territory of not really being able to identify it. I think if I saw it without the minifigures or without the names, I would still be able to figure it out, but it might take an extra second. And once I realize it, I'll know exactly what I'm looking at. Just like with his final submission, which was easily one of my favorite of all of these batches, the Jedi Fallen Order Vault entrance. Unless I'm mistaken, this is the only submission that I got from Jedi Fallen Order, and I just love the backing of this. I love the layering here and how the door is bricks built on the side, and I also love that it really does show the scale of how big these things are. Once again, I do think it kind of falls into that area of maybe not being able to figure it out, but that really depends on if you played the game or not. As soon as I saw this, I knew exactly what it was. And another guy who got ever so close was Noah the Cat Guy. Dude, you have no idea how much time I spent debating this. This is his version of Dagobah, which again I think is instantly recognizable even without Yoda. I love that this was built in real life, which I really want to emphasize was not a priority, and I really like the unique background here. I like that there's like a tree there and also the different variations of green, including the vine to show it off. I also love the use of the wand piece and how the bar is not just straight, but is instead laid at an angle. The only thing that I would have probably changed about this is maybe adding like some water or something, but again, this was really close, dude. Another submission that was extremely close is Brickmeister's Siege of Mandalore. One thing that is going to instantly stand out to you is, of course, the mini gunship, which is just an incredible build on its own. This is another one that I spent a very long time looking at and really deciding on, and I still would love to build this one in real life as well. The gunship alone really makes it stand out, and I love that you can use a diversity of figures here. The only reason that it ultimately fell short is actually because it kinda doesn't look like Mandalore to me, but looks like the planet from the Clone Wars movie. I mean, that's not really a bad thing because it could just be that, but again, this was so close. And the last build that got ever so close but came up just short is Ivy's second entry, I Truly Deeply Love You. This is of course the scene from episode 2 when Padme admits her love to Anakin, and I think you can get that pretty easily here. You can see the pod, you can see the Geonosis entry here, and by the way, Ivy, I love that you actually made the minifigures here. Again, not a requirement by any means, just a really nice touch for the render. I know I've said this for like the last 3, but this one was so close. So now we are in the top 3, and if you are in these top 3, then you should definitely pay attention until the very end here. So, in third place though is the Brick Bulbasaur with Utapau. Once again, kind of funny because I also made a version of Utapau myself, but I think you actually did a better job here. As soon as I saw this, I instantly knew that it was Utapau. I like that you have the backing there. I do kind of wish you filled in the middle there, but it's not really necessary, especially since it just gets covered up by the minifigure anyway. But I like that you didn't overcomplicate it like I did, and you also included the water underneath. Overall, I think you did a great job here. Okay, so for second and first place, I have literally gone back and forth between these guys up until this very moment, and even as I'm saying this sentence, I'm not really sure who I'm going to pick yet. So give me about 5 minutes or about 2 seconds for you. Okay. In second place is Jan with all 3 of his other submissions. I could not separate these in any sort of way because all 3 are exactly what I was looking for, and they all do such a great job. Jan recreated Felucia, Camino, and Utapau, and they all are instantly recognizable, all stand out on their own, and all have really cool features. I love the plants used in Felucia and the colors here. I also love the neutral background that was used to help those colors stand out. And I also really like the little yellow pieces there. What are they? The bases of the levers, the lever bases, and the upside down tile pieces or plate pieces as well. This is a great build here. Camino, instantly recognizable. I love the color choices, and again, there's a diversity of minifigures you could put here. And then he also did the Utapau landing platform just slightly differently, which is kind of weird because there wasn't actually a gunship there, but I really do love the mini recreation of it here. Overall, these entries are exactly what I was looking for when I had the idea for this mock contest, but there was one that really just stood out in its creativity, and that comes from a guy named Andrew Dawley with his version of Felucia. Okay, gotta hear me out on this one. So this is extremely similar to the one that Jan just did. There's a bunch of color here, there's a bunch of plants here, the ground is diversified, it looks pretty much similar. However, I really love that the backing and the background is the plants. This is instantly recognizable as Felucia to any Star Wars fan. You don't even need to have Aayla Secura in there. And to me personally, I love knowing that I can actually build this in real life. Like I said, while you didn't have to build it in real life, knowing that I could was a huge factor for me, and I really just absolutely love how this came out. Okay, but remember how I said that if you were the top 3, you would want to pay attention, because the thing is, I really couldn't pick between the 3 of you, so I'm just going to send the prize to all 3 of you. Yep, all 3 of you will get Wave 1 of my minifig displays, and Andrew will also get the 3 sequel trilogy ones that I made as well. And so if any of you want me to build your display either just for so I can have it because I would really like to, or to show off on the channel, again, please let me know, because all of these were really great, and even though I, differentiated between some of the honorable mentions and some that were hard to choose, it was really hard to even choose between any of them. So thank you all for your submissions, thank you for doing this mock contest, which is something that I've been wanting to do for a while. Also, I should probably mention that to the 3 winners, please contact me on Discord with your information of where to send that to, and please be aware that it is going to take a little bit of time to send them out, as I'm going to be buying all new pieces for this, and then I have to sort them and all that stuff. And also, don't forget for the rest of you that if you want to buy the instructions for my Wave 1, you can do so for only $1 at the link in the description down below. Thank you all so much for entering and for watching. Please make sure you hit like and subscribe, and consider checking me out on Instagram, Discord, and of course on Patreon, where you can join all of these wonderful people and get shoutouts like Jonathan. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.